What is going on, y'all? It's your girl, Tori. Welcome back. Oh, I told y'all we would be back for episode 10, and here we are. And I hope that during our pause, everybody had a chance to come back to the page and interact with it the way that they needed. But now we're back, replenished and refreshed. I have the honor of having a conversation with a mogul, with a woman who's multi-talented, who is doing something that has never been done before. In today's conversation, she's going to show us, through her story, how to stand through every milestone. Because the things that she's been able to do on her own as a woman, she is defying every odd. Not only is she an entrepreneur, a multi-talented woman, but she's a mom and a neighborhood hero, if you ask the customers that come in. So, without further ado, I would like for you guys to help me introduce our guest today. Business owner of Cussin's Cannabis and Nail Salon, Cori Rodriguez. What is going on, Cori?
Hello, hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I love it.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. And I'm so happy we're here for today's episode. And I know I just did a mouthful on introducing, like who you are, a little bit about your story from your lens.
I'm Cori. I started Cussin's Nails about 10 years ago. I'm coming up on a decade, and started as a booth renter in a nail salon, and then slowly that turned into a nail salon with my own renters, and then I now have the cannabis brand and also the nail salon next door.
And as I was saying, there's not a lot of places that do both everywhere.
It's the only one in the world.
I said today's episode is special because I want you to speak to us about like that entire journey. You said that, you know, this is something you've been working on for 10 years now. Like, would you say that being an entrepreneur or like owning your own business was something that was always on your list and what you saw yourself doing?
No, I don't think it was. I was working for somebody else. I was working in the restaurant industry about 12 years. And it's a lot of work on your feet. And it's long hours, it's long days. And my brother started having a family, and I realized like, oh, I'm gonna want to do family stuff and all of these things that I was missing out on because I was like working somebody else's schedule. Just took this motivation to, I knew I didn't want to get into food service. I knew that like the moving parts and the overhead was just outside of what I was capable of, just like starting out on my own journey. But I thought, what if it's something smaller and so much more contained? And I liked having my own nails done, and I had an absolute nightmare nail experience at a nail salon, and I almost lost 2 of my nails for like life. And so I was like, you know what?
Oh, wow.
Let me do it myself. And so I started doing my own nails. My roommate at the time asked me to do her nails, and she like threw a couple bucks at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the move. I enjoyed it, and it just kind of happened really organically, and I'm glad I took the leap to do it.
I love that. And what I took from that is that organic piece, like the fact that you didn't really plan for it, you didn't expect it, but for some reason 10 years later you're still standing here. Like for you, what was like the motivating drive that helped you continue? Come to like the cannabis industry, even opening up your own business. There's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of issues that come with it. What kept you pushing to like want this?
It's a couple of things. I feel like feeling like failure is not an option kind of leaves you with no choice. Like the freedom. So fear to fail and the desire for freedom. And I just felt like I had learned so much working in a small business that I knew that I was capable. One of my most expensive luxuries was getting my nails done. And so it was like, well, what if instead of having this be a bill, what if this made me a profit instead? Just trying to minimize my losses, really. And I just kind of like let it happen. Like, it just happened very organically. And next thing I knew, my clients were asking me if I had a place for them to work. And it was like, I guess I do. And so I built one, and I knew that I didn't want to, being a nail technician is in the Northeast, it's not like working in a hair salon, where you have all these different types of salons, and they're all different vibes, different styles, and no matter what kind of hair or personality type you have, you can find a place where you fit in. The nail industry is like a bit more homogenous, where people can find they have a hard time finding a place to work. They are like treated fairly labor-wise, wage-wise, but then also like with the artistic freedom to just like do what they want to do, practice the mediums they want to do, follow the sanitary procedures that they think align. And I realized that there was a void in this area for this kind of. I feel like suites have become very popular lately, but for nail technicians, especially new ones when they're first coming out of school, suites are a big undertaking. It's hard to do it when you have a minimal clientele.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff to buy. I started my booth rental business. I was in my friend's hair salon, and I had to buy everything from the ground up, my whole station, obviously. And I just thought when I was building my own salon, it's like, what would have been my dream when I was opening up my spa? Like, what would have been the best for me at the time? And my new technicians have been able to seize on it, and you know, most of us aren't taking new clients. The emails are coming in, and
that's lovely.
Everybody's booked and busy.
That's lovely. And all I'm hearing from that is that like you've created a home for these individuals and these nail techs starting out to like be able to have their own business. And you're pushing out your own entrepreneurs now, and I just love that system that you have because it gives back. You're giving back to like a smaller version of you who needed that when you started. And where did cannabis come into like the business model?
Honestly, that was just like an opportunity that the state put together. It was a very different licensing opportunity. No other state in the country has done this with cannabis in the retail market. New York really tried to put a focus on small business owners, women small business owners, people of color that own small business. And they didn't want to just hand a bunch of licenses to people who have a ton of money. Obviously, historically, cannabis in marginalized communities have caused so much harm, right? So the state is trying to undo this harm. So it was designed for people who had a cannabis-related conviction, either personally or someone that they're related to. They were also looking for business experience in New York State, which I conveniently had. My cannabis conviction story, I was a minor, and I was caught with possessing a very small amount of cannabis.
This program was good for you because it spoke to your exact situation.
It did, and I'm obviously not the only one. Most of the licensees for the majority of the first licenses that went out in New York State were owned by people that had cannabis-related convictions. You know, I submitted my application, I paid the fee, and I waited over a year, and I didn't hear anything. And then I did hear that I was getting my license, and then about another year from that, we opened. I'm pretty sure that's how long it took. Well, it was just like a long lesson in like patience and again letting things go and trying not to control everything. You know, I was very pregnant at the time. Again, my fear of failure and my desire for freedom just it had to happen.
Absolutely.
So it did. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that was a moment of validation right there. Like just being able to know like no matter what in this life, even if you're working towards something or even if you're not, life is gonna happen. What is gonna happen will happen. And there's no sense of trying to have control over it. If anything, once it happens authentically or organically, it's some of the most beautiful.
And there's like
results.
no like right time to do it either, which I feel like a lot, like I still kind of get caught up in myself with this sometimes. It's like, oh, I don't want to take this step forward because I want this to be perfect first. But it's like, it's never going to be perfect. It's like, there's always going to be this unresolved thing that's happening while you're still trying to make progress. And it's like, you can't stop making progress just because this piece is unsettled. Just keep going, and like whatever happens.
But that's so deep because I think a lot of us just, I don't know, when it comes to like social media and just like our world today and our generation, I feel like when you want to take on something or take on a journey, like you see people, like I see you, and like over this last year I've admired and watched how you've done the things that you do and how you continue to do it. And I think a lot of times we would look at a finished product and have no idea what it took to get there. What helped you most to navigate those spaces? And like, what is it, some advice that you would give to someone when life just comes and happens?
I think one thing that's always been pretty consistent is like every situation is temporary, regardless how favorable or unfavorable it may be. That moment, your current circumstances are temporary. Think like, oh, it could be worse. That always helps me. Like, at least it's not worse. As chaotic and unfortunate as like the society has felt lately, there is some kind of beauty and grace in the future and the unknown. And I think just remembering that, like, as long as you don't stop like trying, like you have to keep working and you have to keep trying, and it's gonna be really hard and it's probably gonna suck often in unfortunate circumstances. It's all temporary. Things will be different in 2 months, 6 months, next year. Things never stay the same for too long.
I love that. And that's why I think this episode is important when it comes to milestones, because you get to stand at the milestone and look down and look at the moments where you thought you would never be here. Like, I'm pretty sure you look at it now with your 2 year coming up and you're like, wow. And it's not like you've been here for 2 years and there's no growth. Like, the aura, the vibe, the amount of customers that come in here and just show you praise. The fact that you've been able to open up gates for other people. You don't ask for like a clap on your back or a pat on your back. You just continue to show up and do it. And like, we appreciate you for that. So with all the gems that you gave us today, I want to ask you, from the person that started 10 years ago and with all the things that you know now, what would you say to a woman right now who's probably sitting at home, they got a beautiful business plan sitting and a 5-year plan thought out, and they just won't jump off the porch? And what advice would you give to that person today?
I think that the only way that you can get out there and be seen is to be out there and be seen. And you need to talk to people and have like real conversations with people. I think like one thing that's difficult right now with social media is like everybody's curating for their own view and with the expectation of instant gratification in return. And that's not what small business is. It's a very big investment of your time, your money, your emotion, all of these things. And it's gonna be a long time before it comes back to you. Of course, things will come back in different stages. You will feel your emotional gratification come before you feel your financial gratification come. And that's all great. But I just think it is kind of the way that younger people are being fed content now is, I think, not helpful for the amount of mental dedication it takes to really do any kind of business, any kind of long-term commitment. You have to really go into it thinking that if you fail, you lose everything. Because if you kind of like think about it like, oh, it's okay, I can just fall back on, you'll never really like dive all the way in. And you'll always kind of keep that safety net preventing you from, safety net's supposed to catch you, not prevent you from going.
Making that first
jump.
I like to do these things where I give a moment of validation. Having this opportunity to have this job, it's changed my life for the better. And the reason why I really wanted to have this conversation and sit on this chair with you is because over the last 3 years knowing you, you've always inspired me. I've always looked up to you, and I always seen like just the fact that you just keep chipping away. You just keep chipping away, and even if nobody else sees it, you're consistently fighting. You're consistently being a warrior, and you don't show up and you don't ask for anything in return. They deserve the flowers. They deserve to be reminded. As the strongest souls, that's always leading the way, leading people. And sometimes people don't turn back and say thank you. And I want to say thank you, and I know that the people who work for you want to say thank you, and the people in this community want to say thank you. So we just thank you so much for giving us your story today, putting that out there, and just being the person that you are.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
you.
That's so nice.
Any last things you want to say?
No, not.
I do want to let everybody know who's listening today, if you never had the opportunity to come and vibe out with us, the information is down below. Come check us out. Come see the vibe. You see what we got going on. It's your girl, Cori. And we gonna see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
What is going on, y'all? It's your girl, Cori. Real quick before we get out of here, I know there's been a lot of fear, hate, tragedy, and loss lately. And I just want to remind us that hate is what got us here. So turn around and show the world love. Show your loved ones love before it's too late. I hope that helps.